Welcome back, everybody. I hope that you were able to find time yesterday to observe the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, and that you were able to build meaning into that experience from the experience of our Sunday service. I am beyond grateful for Natasha Evans, who worked with our young people, teaching them about the medicines that were used by indigenous peoples right here, where we call home. I'm also grateful to Chris Fisher, the amazing music selections, for Christina Lindsay for bringing in Natasha, and of course to Catherine and the whole team of audio-visual facilitators, making sure that the service came off like it did. Everyone that left the service or watched the service at home told me how meaningful it was, and I can echo that sentiment. Today, I want to talk a little bit about what I was hoping to get at in my sermon. Now, there's a few steps between the passage from which I read and acknowledging our history, the pain, and trying to imagine a different future, a different world that we are called to co-create. So I decided to title my sermon, The Rock of Ambiguity. It was inspired by the line in the passage which tells of this cornerstone that is rejected by the builders but has become the chief cornerstone. But for some people that cannot see it as such or receive it as such, it is a rock of offense. So by rock of ambiguity, what I meant was, for some people, the way of Jesus, the way of truth, life, and compassion, the way of vulnerability and humility are not going to be viewed with favor. Those are going to be considered outmoded or outdated ways of being in the world. In order to get anywhere and to do anything, you need to compete vigorously, to push, to even be aggressive in order to accomplish what you want to accomplish. This is true regardless of where you fall on the political spectrum. And so by highlighting the tension between this rock that to some is considered outdated, passé, offensive, to others is salvation. It is the key to experiencing life to the fullest, not trying to control, manage, or make things happen, but learning how to live and respond in forgiveness and with grace to whatever life is bringing or has brought. Whatever life brought long before you and I arrived on this planet or emerged or were, in the words of the existentialists, cast into the chaos of our present day. Long before that, there were actions undertaken, there were policies implemented, there were relations that were broken. And so we have inherited those egregious errors, mistakes, those ways of thinking and those ideologies. But we have a choice. We can attune ourselves through our spiritual practices to pay attention to the rock and to be able to see it as the cornerstone, to see it as the incarnation or presence of the divine that invites us into a different way of being, a way that may not show up on grade sheets or other metrics. It's not a way that's going to get all the attention and the acclaim. It's not a way for whom the red carpet is rolled out, but it is the way of our teacher, of the one we follow, Jesus. And for me, that way of compassion and humility is a way that can hear the cries of those who have lived with injustice and injustice afflicted upon them. It's a way we can hear what they are telling us, what they have experienced, and a way that we can hear ways forward. How can we build new and right relationship with the original peoples here on Turtle Island, but also, and I mentioned this in my sermon, with peoples the world over? The innocent, the young, those who have no part in making war, most often suffer the most because of the wars that are being waged. Right now, as I record this, there are missiles being launched from one country to the next. There are invasions. There are inhumane practices carried out on children, on families, people being forced into situations which we would not recognize as life at all. And so I'm inviting everybody through the lens of truth and reconciliation to hear and see and look differently. Look, hear, and see the way in which Christ comes to us today. Attune yourselves to the way in which God is inviting us deeper into that kind of primal awareness of relationship, of need, of human community, so that we can put aside all the chaos and the frenzy, frenetic energy of social media, of traffic jams, of the thous and the thou shalts and everything, all these systems that are just moving at breakneck speed, colliding into one another. Perhaps today, and for days to come, we can practice that kind of deep attunement. I hope, I pray that our service on Sunday and this little postscript can go some ways to helping you do that, to encouraging you as you seek not only that peace, but the insight and the wisdom, knowing that you do it not alone, but with all of us and always with Creator itself. Thank you so much for joining in today, and I look forward to seeing you next time.